Hello guys, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, sir. We can hear you.
You can continue the session.
Okay. I know that this is a bit tired time. Anyway, we don't have any other time, so we will continue the session, and as well as I don't need to do. I'm thinking that there is no point of do the course again, so that I'm doing only the main points what you need to focus through the exam. Okay, because of that I don't discuss everything what we did in the course. So first of all, I will share my screen. What about if I talk in Sinhala, is there anyone who can't understand English? Sorry, Sinhala. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir. It's visible and your voice is breaking, I think.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me? I'm not sure whether my connection is stable. I will start slowly, then whatever the issue comes, we will work on. Yeah. Okay. First of all, we discussed in Java, in terms of this course, we didn't go into much deeper in this Java course. That means I'm saying because in the industry we are having so much frameworks on top of this basic, core Java. Right? That means in this course we have discussed only the core features of Java. But in the industry, what you are maybe if you are go through the companies or the whatever the career path, you don't. We need to use anyway. But the in reality, you are not not working through this. I'm saying these are the not the main things, right? But anyway, if you are going as a backend developer, you need to do these things anyway, right? So first of all, we discuss what are the core features of Java. That means before that, before going to the actual Java, we discussed what is the compiler and interpreter. Why I discussed? Because these are important to understand the concept. That means compiler and interpreter, compiler is a translator, right? It converts the human readable code into a object language. That means that is in terms of Java, this object language is not understandable by machine, right? Because we learn that there is a interpreter also. Java is kind of it contains both compiler and interpreter, but in terms of compiler, some other language like C++, those are having only this compiler, right? No need to have any other interpreter. It directly converts into this object language. This object language is understandable by the machine, right? Because of that, C is giving the output. But in terms of Java, it's not necessary to. It's not. Definitely we need to have compiler as well as interpreter. That means in in terms of Java, we need to have both of these compiler and interpreter. Like in compiler, what it does is it translates the source language. I mean, this high level what we are writing throughout the program. This is high level language, right? We are writing the high level language, but we are converting that one into object language that is called machine language. That is done by compiler, and an interpreter is kind of any other, let's say like a PHP or the JavaScript. Those are interpreter based language. That means it directly converts the whatever the human readable form into output. That means it directly gives the output. This is very important through your exam. So just focus on that as well as compiler and interpreter. I will go fast. If you can't understand, tell me. I will go back again and I will try to explain you. Right, but just no need to get harder. But I'm focusing only. Right, because of that the things what I am not discussing, no need to go through, because they are not going to ask anyway from the exam, right? And then compiler and interpreter, and then these are not necessary. And then as you understanding what Java does is like this is first Java. I mean this is our Java program, right? Using Java C, I said that in the class I said this is compiler, right? This is the compiler. I said in Java we both have compiler and interpreter, right? In Java compiler is Java C. So using Java C for the compiler, we convert that one into object class, right? The object language, and then this is the this is class file, right? This is class file, and then you using the JVM, Java Virtual Machine, this class file convert into the it will give the output. So this JVM is kind of the interpreter, and this is the compiler, and JVM is the interpreter. So here Java is having both compiler and interpreter to give the output, right? This is important. Why we are saying Java is platform independent? Because so here we are converting this Java whatever the class. Here we are having this class, and this class is executable by any other platform, right? That means here JVM is the independent program, right? That means JVM is the independent program for each let's say for Windows, it needs to have a particular JVM, and for the Mac and Linux also it needs to have the particular JVM. So that means JVM is the independent, the class file is not independent, right? So that means it runs anywhere. So this is the this is a dependent. JVM is the dependent. JVM is dependent on the Windows and Mac and as well as Linux. So this is independent. Once we have this class object, right? This class, if we have this class file, then we can run this class file in anywhere. That means in Windows, Mac or Linux, we can run this class file. So that is how Java becomes platform independent. That means once we compile the human readable form into the object class, so here it will run, it can run on any platform. That is why Java becomes platform independent. That means it does not depend on any other platform, right? It is independent. That's why Java is called platform independent. Right. And here, those are important. And then here, here a non-Java program, why I say is because if we run a program in a computer, it needs to have an operating system. It needs to have an operating system and hardware. So here a non-Java program, it directly connects with the operating system. But for the Java program, we need to have another third-party program called JVM. Throughout this JVM only, the Java program can connect to the operating system and then hardware. So we need to have this JVM, right? And then this distributed system is necessary, and then history is also not necessary. And then here you need to definitely, as Java language object oriented, you need to know what is this object oriented means, right? Here definitely you need to follow these object oriented concepts. These are the object oriented concept. If you can't understand, just take by heart, right? So that means definitely you need to go through this one. There is no way to pass the exam, right? Platform independence. And then here we have runtime environment. Here what we need to discuss again. Actually, I'm not going through this because these are, if I go through this again, we can't finish this within 2 hours, as well as this is going to be another course, right? So I'm not going through these items. And another important thing is, here we have fundamental. Guys, do you have, okay. I hope I'm okay, right? I mean, can you hear me, guys? Okay, then okay, and then we will go through this. I hope you all got these slides, right? I mean, these notes I shared. I have shared a folder also. So anyway. Basic structure, and here you need to know the basic structure of a class, right? So this is the simplest program, right? Here what you need to do, this is a public class first. This is the class name, right? What we call, we will discuss later what is class. I have done, I mean, I'm going to discuss that one. Here this is access modifier public, and this is a keyword, and this is the class name. Here you need to know this stuff: public, static, void, main, string args. Here I said in the classroom, in any Java program, it needs to have this this main method, what we call this as main method, right? Public, static, void, main, string args. These here you need to remember this one. Here string args means this is the argument. Through in any method we can pass parameters to inside this method, right? Here we are passing the arguments, but this argument is an array, right? This is string array. Args is the parameter that is an array, and here this is the main is the method name, right? For any method, it should have a name, right? This main is the method. Here, can you remember what is void means? Void is kind of void. In a method, we can return variables to through that function or the method, we can return some values, right? But if we mention that method as if we initiate that method as void, then that method is not to return any values from that method. Okay, that means if let's say if I mention this one as string, then that method, right, this method, but this main method we can't write as string, but let's say I have another method called right here. What it does is, like, through this calc function or the method, calc is a method, so this, let's say this is it, in this method it is going to return a int value. So that means this is kind of it says that to the program in this method, in this calc method, it is going to return a value which is int value, right? But in this main method we are not returning anything. That is only for the purpose of running the program, right? In any software we can have only one main method, right? If you are working in a Java environment, you will know that you need to know that you have only one main method for the whole program. There are so many classes, but for the whole classes we can have only one main method to run that software. Throughout this main method only, it runs the program, right? So here void is not going to return any value, right? Here static means we in the program, this is main method. This method is not going to be changed anymore, right? So that's why we are having this static. In a while we will discuss furthermore what is this static means, right? Public, in the sense, public is kind of, we can access this method, you can access this method from anywhere. That is what public. That means this is a access modifier, right? We have another access modifier called private, protected, and we have another one also, public, private, protected. I can't remember that one. Anyway, we will go further. I will in this session we are having that one also. So in this public method, what it says, like, from anywhere we can access this main method. That is what this is how we explain this public static void main string args. That means the main method. So just go through this one again. So in if you can't understand, tell me, I will tell you, right? I mean, I will explain further this one. Okay, and then not important comment, and then data types. Right, here we have, as a program, what is the basic structure of a class? That means we have package and import statements, and here we have before the class we can describe what are the interfaces we are going to use, or any other package abstraction kind of thing we can explain over here. And then here we are having this public, this is the actual class is described, class is written, right? This is the structure of a class. Here we have comments on data type is important. What is data type means? Data types, it can contain size and values for a variable, right? That means it specify the different size and values, right? Actually, the data types can come only with a variable, right? When we declare a variable, definitely we need to have a data type for that variable. What we define throughout data type is like size and the value. So let's say here I'm going to declare a int variable. So that means int is the type, right? Int, let's say int age. So int is the type. Through the int, I'm defining size for that variable. That means we learned for each data type, it is defining a size for that. Right here, what we need to understand, data type specify the different sizes and values for a variable. This is data types here, and we described. I mean, we discussed that there are two main data types called primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types is kind of Boolean, char. These are the these kind of things, primitive data types as well as non-primitive data types here. And then when we talk about primitive data types, Boolean and Boolean, and then again we can divide that one into Boolean and numeric. Here numeric contains character and integral. That means this contain, I mean the character contains the string values, as well as the numeric contains the integer values. Here in integral part, we are having four integer types, but for the character we are having only the char value, and then we are having this Boolean. This is for the true false. That means 0, 1 values, right? This is data type, and primitive data type is kind of there are eight primitive data types, if you can remember. And then non-primitive data types. This is actually non-primitive is kind of, it refers to another data type. That means the non-primitive data types kind of classes. Here we had explanation for the primitive data types, size and type of the variable. And here we have actually no need to go through this stuff. And then float Boolean non-primitive data types are called reference types, right? That means here we reference type in the sense we are having reference to this one. That means for this variable we are having in another reference. That means here, even though we describe this variable as string, we are creating an object, right? That means string, when we already when we define this string as a variable, Java, what Java does is it creates an object. That is why we are saying this is as reference type. Here string is an object. String is an object, right? Likewise, in here it says string array, and we can say some other object also. That means array list. There are some array lists. Those kind of things are defined as non-primitive data types, and primitive data types. These are the primitive data types. This is very important. Data type is very important. So this stuff, and then primitive data types kind of classes, interface, arrays, string. These are primitive data types, right? And then keyword is a kind of reserved keyword. That means when we declare a variable, we can't get this variable, I mean these words, That means these are reserved by the language. That means you can't use these keywords in your program. Then definitely it will give some errors, right? Syntax errors. And then identify these are not important. Yeah, I need to describe this static, but in a while we will go in deep with this static. Right, we are having these operators, right? These operators are very important when we consider the exam. So here we are having arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, bitwise operators. I can't point the exact one, but some item is going to be covered in the exam, right? That means one item is having in the exam. So arithmetic operators are kind of we are using these arithmetic operators to do mathematical operations, right? Here we are having these items or the operators to do mathematical operations. Here, just keep remember we are having some exercise done in the classroom, and then assignment operators is kind of we use these operators to assign values to a variable, right? Here we are having a equal and likewise we are having so many assignment operators. Just go through these items and then just understand. And then comparison operators or the relational operators. We are saying this comparison operators as relational operators. Why? Because we are comparing the values to if we need to compare values or the maybe string or integer. If we need to compare those values, we need to use these operators, right? Greater than or less than. These are the relational operators, so the comparison operators. Just go through this one. When you do the program, definitely you need to use this stuff, comparison operators, right? And then relational operators also the same thing here. This is deleted slides, so anyway I'm going further. Logical operators, this is kind of if we need to use logic in between two variables, we need to use these operators. That means this is n operator, o operator, and not operator. We can use or not with these two items. So that means and not n, and if we use this one with o, then it means not o. That means here it says, let's say we need to compare these values, and then with this goes with what we say in let's say we are having a conditional statement, and then we need to check whether these comparisons are true or not, right? At that time we can use this logical operators like and. This is and. That means this, if both items are true, it returns the value, right? That means it is checking whether these both items are true, and then this conditional statement also return true. And here it is checking one item. It is return true whether one of these items are true, right? If x less than 5, then it will return true value. But here we need to in this one with the AND gate, we need to have it needs to match both. Sorry, I was disconnected. I'm back. I'll share my screen. I hope still you can hear me, right?
Yes, so we can hear you, but your line is breaking.
Yeah, really. Give me a moment.
Sure.
My wife has switched off that other.
It's no issue.
Guys, sorry, I'm having some problems with connectivity. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, okay. We'll see. I think this will be okay. Unless my wife switch off this again. Okay. These are actually not important. Here string, this is okay. Condition statement, if statement, actually you need to practice some kind of basic simple, I mean, I can say that you need to practice simple for simple programs. That means, let's say, some kind of array combination, or some kind of those stuff, right? In this exam, what I'm checking is whether you were actively in the classroom, right? Everything in the exam have been discussed in the classroom. Right? That means no from outside the class. Definitely, everything is discussed in the classroom, right? So no need to go through any other stuff. Just go through these slides as well as whatever the practicals we done in the classroom. That's enough, right? So a few simple programs are there. You need to write that down, and I need to say, like, but in the classroom there are so many students who like to do program, and as the other guys are not that much interested in doing the program. So I have done the program, done the paper. I have prepared the paper to suit for the both side, both teams, for both guys, right? Some people are like, some people are doesn't like. So I have written the paper for both guys, right? Because of that, if you well prepared for the theory, you can pass the exam. No need to do the program section, but it is better if you are familiar with the program, so that you can go for higher marks. Other than that, you can pass the exam. That's how I have prepared the exam. So if you go through the theory part, then you can pass the exam. But if you need to go for higher marks, then you need to go through this. You need to write these programs also, right? In the exam, maybe 3 to 4 questions you need to write the programs, right? So here these are the basic elements what we need to construct a program, right? Here break statement, these are not necessary. Likewise, here this is simple program. So likewise, maybe I'm not saying this will be coming for the exam, but you need to prepare for this kind of questions, right? If you don't have those practical practical items what we have discussed in the classroom, I can share again, because definitely all the questions in the paper are going to ask from those practical sessions. No outside of the discussions, right? So better if you can refer those, then you can go for higher marks. So that is that is covered in, all the everything is covered in these two slides. So I'm closing this one also. And then here we have this object-oriented programming. Right here, you need to actually, you definitely as a Java, this is object-oriented language. So definitely you need to know all the concept of this OOP. Right. So here, if we quickly go through this object-oriented programming, also object in Java is an object-oriented program. Why we say like object-oriented language? Because everything what we are defining in the language is by this object. That means everything. Let's say we are writing an employee class, or let's say we are writing a library program, right? Everything we can define as objects, right? So we are saying this Java is object-oriented language. Here, what object is a real-world entity. Let's say if I go to the next slide, these are the objects, right? Everything what we are referring in the program, we can define as object. And then these objects are having this give me a moment, guys. Okay. Here what I was telling was everything we are defining in the program can be defined as objects. So objects are having properties and actions. Here we are having these properties as legs type. If I get this chair, it is having this legs type of material, color. Those are the properties, and then we can move the chair. And we, in each object we can define, it can contain some actions, right? Then let's say if I consider this chair, we can move or we can sit on that. Likewise, it is having some kind of actions. So we are saying that is as method, and these are properties, and then that is having methods. So here OP, okay. OOP. Okay, let's say here we are having class and objects. Here objects-oriented programming involves programming using the objects, right? What I was saying, like everything, we can define everything as object, as well as here we are having for the object, it can contain these properties and methods, right? For it was here, but I can't find it out. Here it's this is important. An object represents an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. That means in it can define a real world entity. For the real world entity can contain properties as well as the actions. For the actions we are in programming, for the actions we are saying methods, and we are saying the variables. Likewise, we can define the object, right? And then let's go into deeper into the class and object. Here we are having actually these are the object-oriented concept, and here we are having this object, class, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. These are very important, guys, right? Definitely you need to refer into this object, class, abstraction. I don't say that everything going to be in the exam, but few of them maybe, right? So object, classes, we will go into this object first, right? Here That's what I wanted to talk. There, for the object, I said object is a real world entity, right? It is an entity in the real world. We can define that one as object, right? Let's say, as I discussed, chair, table, whatever the item, we can define as object, right? And then for the object, it is having these attributes or properties, and as well as for the object we are having behavior, we say as methods, right? By having these attributes and behavior, we can make it as object. Here this is very important, attributes and behaviors. For object, it is having attributes and behaviors. Object attributes and behaviors are encapsulated to the data type, right? This is called class. Here all together, right? By having the attributes and behavior integrated into one item is called class, right? For the class, how we can define the class as this. A class defines the abstract characteristics of a thing, object, including the things characteristics. That means behavior, and for the class, it can contain characteristics as well as the things it can do, what we are referring as methods, and the attributes, right? Here if I go to object, I'm trying to, so here let's take this example to understand well. Here this is class, right? Let's say I will go to this one. This is class, right? I'm saying this lamp is the class, right? Here lamp contains some attributes. Is an attribute, and turn on is a method, right? Turn on is a method, and is on is an attribute, right? Here turn off is also a method. So by having these two types, we have defined a class. This is class. This class contains attributes as well as methods. This is called class. But what is an object? Object is an instance of that class. That means this lamp is the class, but we are defining we are instantiating one item. Sorry. Am I clear still?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you can't hear me, tell me. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. And then here this is what we called instantiating object, right? Here L1 is the object, but lamp is the class. We are defining object from the class. Here this is what we called class and object, right? For the class, it can contain attributes and methods, or properties and actions. Here we are having this is on as a property and turn on as a method. For a class, we can have these kind of properties and methods, right? And I hope you got the idea. For the object, we are defining, we are creating instance from that class. That is what we call object, right? Class provides class object can actually, by setting object is a real world entity, and then class is kind of we are defining these attributes and behaviors of that real world entity, right? If we go to this one, the lamp is the class. It is containing some kind of properties and as well as methods, and then we are defining object as instantiating an object from that defined class. The lamp is the class, but we are defining object from that lamp. This is how we are defining object from the class, right? This is the connectivity between classes and object, right? If we wrote a class, then we can create any number of object from that class. Okay, that is the combination between, or the connection between the classes and object, right? Okay, and then classes. Okay, this is very this process of hiding the implementation details. Actually abstraction is, let's say if we consider an example, in the phone, let's say you are typing an SMS, right? Then you once you click send button, you don't know what is happening inside, right? Button, the SMS being sent. Here we can get this idea as a abstraction. You don't know what is happening inside button. You are seeing a result, right? Abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details. That means you don't know, actually you don't know what is happening, or you don't know what is actually happening in the class, but you can see the result, right? That is kind of abstraction. Another way, it shows only essential details. That means you can see in here, it says you can see only the essential details for the programmer, right? That means you don't see any other unnecessary stuff. You see only necessary stuff to do whatever you program, right? Here we are having, to achieve this abstraction, we are having abstract class and interfaces. Here we are having to another important thing called abstract class and interface class. When we are dealing as a programmer, these items are very important. For programmer, abstract and interface classes are very important. Some guys know that this Java is providing inheritance, right? That is also another object-oriented concept. But we can achieve the multiple inheritance, right? Let's say in a while we will discuss what is inheritance, and we can achieve multiple inheritance throughout this interface class, right? Let's talk about this abstract class. What is abstract class is like we can define the abstract class as using this abstract keyword. Definitely in the in front of the class name, we need to use this abstract class to make it as abstract. Abstract keyword to make it as abstract class. It can have abstract and non-abstract method. Both we can have. Both abstract and non-abstract methods can have for the abstract class, right? Actually, this is here I have some kind of comparison in between abstract class and interface class. Actually, throughout this in an abstract class, let's say this is abstract class, we can define here we are declaring the variable. This is method declaration. We can in an abstract class, see here we are having abstract keyword to define this class as abstract class, right? If you didn't use this abstract, this is become normal class, right? But we are having this abstract keyword to make it as abstract class. And then here we are having abstract method also. Why? Because in abstract class we can have method declaration only. But for abstract class, we can define the method also. That means we can define the body method of the body of the method also, right? We can define the body also, but both way is fine. That means we can. That means here it says for the abstract class, it can have abstract method or non-abstract method also. That means non-abstract method means we can have the method definition, right? We not only the declaration. Here we are having we have declared only this method. We have abstract as, that means this is we have declared only, right? But in here, right, in here we have definition also. For this method, it is we have definition also, right? So here it is going to here see extends keyword. Using this extends keyword, we can use, I mean, for to use this abstract, we need to use this extends. This is another difference between abstract and interface class. Here, if we need to define or if we make to extend that interface class further, we need to use implements keyword. Here we are using extends keyword. That means using extend keyword again. Hope I can hear you. Here using extends keyword, we can extend the abstract class, right? That means this is we call this as inheritance also, right? Here we are using extends keyword to inherit a class from parent class. This is the parent class, but in this behavior we don't say this is inheritance class, but this is abstract class, and using this extend keyword. And then here we have rewrite the method, right? This way is possible because we have declared this method as abstract method. So this is okay. We have further defined this method like this, right? This is abstract class, right? Here you need to understand what is inside. See what the basic theories for this abstract class. We can have only for the abstract class we can have here the basic understanding is that we are hiding the implementation. Here we are hiding the implementation, right? We don't know what is happening inside, but only through this class only we have defined this class. So that is using this one we have hide the data. We have hide the data through this one. Only this one only. I mean through this class only, through this method only we have defined the class. This way we can define the abstract class, and then we understood we need to understand the interface class also. If we need to declare interface class, definitely we need to use this interface keyword, as well as if we need to further extend this interface class, then we need to use implements keyword, right? This way only we can extend that or implement that interface class. Here another difference between this one, like for abstract class we can have both abstract and non-abstract methods. But for the interface, definitely it can contain only the method declaration. Right, method for interface class, it can have only method declaration, but for the abstract class, we can, inside this class, we can define this draw method also. That means we can write the code for this method, but interface class, we can't write the method implementation, right? So that means for the interface class method, it can define only, no implementation, right? But so how we can implement that method throughout this implements class only. That means rectangle class only we can define the this method. This is interface class here. So here we are having some kind of comparison between abstract class and interface class. Just refer this one. This is a bit important. And encapsulation is kind of another data hiding mechanism, right? Another data hiding mechanism is encapsulation, but we use access modifiers to hide those data. That means encapsulation is this is very important. Encapsulation in Java is process of wrapping code and data together. That means this is any other in other way around, we are saying another hiding mechanism. That in here it says wrapping code and data together is called into a single unit is called encapsulation. But other way around, we can say this as another data hiding mechanism, right? How we can hide throughout this encapsulation, how we can hide the data using these access modifiers, right? We are I'm not sure where is that access modifiers. Give me a moment. Yeah, here we can access control modifiers. Here we are having this private default protected. I missed this part previously when I discussed here public, protected, private, and default. These are the access modifiers. By using these access modifiers, we can hide the data, right? Here it says data hiding. How we can hide the data using these access modifiers, right? Using these access modifiers, we can hide the data on a program. So here it is very important to understand this one. Public, if we declare a method or a variable as public, in anywhere we can access this public method or class. But if we define a variable or method as protected, then we can access that variable. This is okay for method also. Let's say for my easiness, I'm using variable. If I declare a variable, I can access that variable through the class, within the class, and within the package also possible, and outside the package also by subclass. But if we need to use that variable outside the class, that is only using subclass only. That means using parent or child class behaviors only. But outside the package, it's not possible. That means throughout two, let's say we are having two packages and we are having protected variable. We can use that protected variable inside that package only, but other package is not accessible. It means throughout other package, it can't accessible that protected variable, right? But here this is also important. Default is kind of throughout that class we can access, but within the package also that is possible, but this way is not possible. That means outside the package not possible, and outside the package by subclass only this is also not possible if we declared as default variable. And then private is very important, that is accessible throughout only the class. Within the package this way is not possible. If we declared a variable as private throughout, within that class only we can access that variable, right? This way also we can hide the data, right? Abstract and encapsulation are kind of same idea, but two mechanisms, right? We use this public private these access modifiers, public protected and public default, to hide the data or the implementation in the program, right? This is very important. Access modifiers need to consider, right? And then yeah, that is kind of the Java here final is important. And why? Because if you declare variable as final, then you can't change that value. That means you cannot change the value of the final variable. That means if this speed limit as int variable, right? This type is the speed limit variable type is int, but final. Then we can't change the value of this speed limit because this has defined as final variable. And then final method also. Then if we define a method as final, then we can't modify or override that method in a subclass, right? That means throughout parent behavior, we can override some method which are declared in the parent class through the subclass. That if I say in singular, parent class declare method එකක් අපිට sub class එකකින්, ඒ කියන්නේ child class එකකින් අපිට override කරන්න පුළුවන්. එන්නද අන්න ඒ වෙලාවට හිතන්නකො දැන් අපි parent class එකේ method එක declare කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ final method එකක් විදිහට. හැබැයි මට මේක final method එකක් නිසා parent එකේ declare කරලා දෙන්න මට මේක override කරන්න බෑ මේ Honda class එකේ. මොකද මෙයා final එකක් විදිහට declare කරලා තියෙන්නේ. If you make any method as final, you cannot override it. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ Honda class එකේදී මෙන්න මේ run කියන method එක override කරන්න බෑ. හරිද? අපි තව පැහැදිලිව ඉගෙන ගන්න ඉස්සරහට යද්දි මේක නිකන් මතක තියාගන්න final එකෙන් how we are defining this final variables. If we define a variable or method as a final, we can't override those values in the future, right? Final class also same. This is not much important. Static keyword in Java. This is very important. The static keyword is used to memory management mainly. So why we are using this static keyword? Here I got a good example like this. Here we are saying to understand this static keyword. Here here I'm having a class called student, right? Let's say we are having 500 students, right? in this is class, but we are having 500 students. So that means if I need to access these 500 students data, I need to declare 500 object, right? But what happens when it declares the 500 variables, every time this string college is going to be override, right? That means this is going to be huge disadvantage in terms of memory. That means for each variable, it's going to allocate memory space in the computer, right? That means in CPU we are allocating one space for this, not for each and every variable. So that means the int roll number name are unique. I mean unique in the sense these are changing values, but the string college is not changing value. That means this is going to be a constant value. So that means no point of declaring this string as this college as string value. I mean this is a string, but we can define this one as static variable. So that means this is in every time this static is going to be a one value. That means if we declare a static variable, it does not overwrite. I mean overwrite in the sense it does not create for each and every student, it does not get this college value because I have declared that one as static value. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක static value එකක් අපි කියලා අපි හදුවාම මෙයා ආයි memory එකේ space එකක් allocate කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ එකපාරයි create කරන්නේ. එතකොට එයා ආයි create වෙන්නේ නැහැ memory එකේ. මෙයා එකපාරයි create වෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා memory access එක වැඩි වෙනවා static එක විදිහට. එතකොට මේ static එකේදී ඒක තමයි මේ දැන් මෙතන තව එකක් තියෙනවා. Here we are explaining here this I variable is static. So in this class, I mean even though let's say these are child classes, right? I'm going to use this x variable in each and every subclass, that means child class. So you can override this x value, but you can't override this I value. Why? Because you have declared this variable as static. So you can't, because of that you can't override this static variable. So think of that and apply the same thing for the variable. I talked about variable, but you need to apply that concept for the method, block and class. That means for static method, if you declare the method as static, you cannot change that method, right? That means I said main in program main method is defined as static. So that means that method is not going to be changed. You can change inside the value, but but not the method, right? So that is going to be static method, right? So other difference is like in a static method you can't instantiate that method. That means if you declare a method as static, then you can only let's say here I think we're having an example for that. You can apply static user. Static method belongs to the class. Let's say practical display static change. Okay, මේ බලන්න මෙතන දැන් මම මේ display කියන method එක here I'm having a method called sorry, this change. This is static method. But I am having another method called display. Here, since I have declared this display as a normal method, I can instantiate that method. Here we are having method අපිට තියෙනවා මේ මම සිංහලෙන් explain කරන්නද මොකද කියන්නේ කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් තේරුම් ගන්න බැරි කෙනෙක් සිංහල තේරුම් ගන්න බැරි කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද guys is ඇහෙනවද මාව
I think it's fine, sir.
okay එහෙනම් මම සිංහලෙන් කරන්නද කරනවා
Okay, sir. No issue.
okay එතකොට මෙතන change කියලා තියෙන static change මේක static method එකක් විදිහට දීලා තියෙන්නේ මෙතන බලන්න මේ student කියන එක අපිට change කියන method එක අපිට මේ instantiate කරන්න බෑ ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන අපිට මේ objects හැදලා තිබ්බට මේ student එකේ method එකකින් මට object එකේ display එකට access කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ විදිහට හැබැයි change කියලා method එකට මට අර විදිහට access කරන්න බෑ. මොකද මෙයා static method එකක්. මේ static method එකට අපිට access කරන්න වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? මෙන්න මේ විදිහට student කියලාම තමයි. මොකද class name එක එක්ක තමයි මෙතන මේ access කරන්න වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ point එකක් නෑ මේ මේකට ආපහු object එක through access කරන එක. තේරුණාද මම කියපු එක? මේක මේ ආපහු මම මේක දැන් static class එකක් විදිහට ලියලා මම object එකක් through access කරන එක මේ සාධාරණ නෑ. මොකද මෙයා අපි define කරන්නේ මෙයා static එක method එකක් විදිහට මෙයා වෙනස් වෙන්න බැරි නිසා. ඒක නිසා අපි මේක මේ විදිහට තමයි access කරන්නේ student.change කියන එක. මේක තමයි ලොකුම difference එක තියෙන මේ static method එකක. static method එකකයි මෙතන normal method එකයි වෙනස. හරිද? එතකොට static variable එකක් කිව්වම මෙතන අපිට මේ හිතන්න මේක static කියලා තිබ්බොතින් එහෙම මෙතන අපිට මේ variable එක අපිට change වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැමතැනම එකයි. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ static එකක් විදිහට අපි use කරොත් අපිට මේක instantiate කරන්න බෑ. ඒක ඒ විදිහටම තමයි. හරිද? okay ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන static තව දේවල් තිබ්බ මේවා මම හිතන්නේ ගොඩක් අදාළ වෙන්නේ Java static block ඊට පස්සේ static class මෙන්න මේ ටික බලා ගන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ඊට පස්සේ exercise okay ඊළඟට අපි 4th එකට යමු object oriented concept මෙතන classes superclass inheritance එක ගොඩක් වැදගත් inheritance කියන්නේ අපි මේ මුලින්ම කිව්වා අපි class එකේ කතා කරනදී කිව්වා inheritance එකක් කියන්නේ අපි child parent behavior තියෙන එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි inheritance එකක් විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරොත් මෙහෙම කියමු inheritance in Java mechanism which one object acquire all properties and behaviors of parent. That means this is what we call child parent behavior. All the properties and methods of the parent is acquired by the child class. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ parent ගේ තියෙන හැම දෙයක්ම අපි obviously child එනවා. හැම තියෙන property එකක් හැම තියෙන method එකක්ම parent ගේ තියෙන ඒ දේවල් ටික obviously child එනවා. ඊට අමතරව child class එකේදී අපිට additionally ලියන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් method එක අපිට override කරන්න පුළුවන් අලුත් methods ලියන්න පුළුවන් ඒ child එකේදී. හැබැයි parent ගේ තියෙන හැම දෙයක්ම අපිට නිකම්ම මේ child එකට එනවා. It is an important part of OOP. The idea behind inheritance in Java that you can create new classes that are built upon existing class. ඒ කියන්නේ අර මේකම තමයි කියන්නේ existing class එකේ තියෙන හැම දෙයක්ම මෙයාට නිකම් එනවා. අමතර ලියන දේවල් තමයි එන්නේ මේ child අයිති වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි parent child ගේ තියෙන දේවල් අයිති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් අපි දැන් අපේ තාත්තගේ තියෙන හැමදේම අපිට එනවා වගේ මගේ තියෙන දේවල් මගේ තාත්තගේ නැති වෙන කතාවක් තමයි මේ කියන්නේ. ඒක අපිට ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි අපේ ලයිෆ් වල නම් ඒක දකින්න බෑ. හැබැයි ඉතින් මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් කන්සෙප්ට් එකේ එහෙම තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ හදලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි, එතකොට by using inheritance methods for overriding ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ටික ගොඩක් ඉම්පෝර්ටන්ට් වෙන්නේ නේ. classes, subclass, superclass, parent class, reusability මේ ටික පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙන්න. syntax අපි කොහොමද define කරන්නේ sub class එකක් මෙන්න මේ extends keyword එක යටතේ. එතකොට මේ super class name එක තමයි extends එකෙන් පස්සේ එන්නේ. child class එක තමයි මේ තියෙන sub class name extends super class. That means if we use this extends keyword, all the properties of super class going to be acquired by the subclass. So super class එකේ තියෙන හැම එකක්ම මෙන්න මේ sub class එකට එන්නේ. එතකොට extend keyword එක තමයි අපි මේ behavior එකට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. තව දුරටත් ඒක explain කරනවා. මෙතන හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මෙතන inheritance in Java mechanism is which one object acquire all the properties and behaviors of parent object. This is very important. Okay, and then we need to go to this. There are some inheritance, so you need to refer these inheritance examples. I will go into one inheritance and inheritance demo, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple. So if I explain a little bit of inheritance here, we are having bicycle class. This is normal class, but it contains two variables and few other methods. And then I'm extending that bicycle keyword from mountain. That means this mountain bike is going to acquire all the properties of bicycle. That means all the methods of methods and properties of this bicycle is going to be acquired by this mountain bike. That means a mountain bike, here we can define this method. If we define this super method like this is keyword, super is a keyword. If we define like this, then it is going to call this constructor. Right, that means it will automatically call this constructor and it will pass this gear and feed into this method as here. Right, if we use this super keyword, it will call to this constructor of the parent class. This is calling to the constructor of the parent class, and then again I'm having another. This is what we call constructor. Constructor in the sense, what is constructor? Constructor is a method which can contain the class name. Right? We can pass few any number of methods, so we can have we don't need to have the parameters for this one. Anyway, if we have a method which is name same as class name, then that method is going to be constructor. නේද? එහෙම තමයි අපි මේ ඒක ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. constructor එක අපි කොහෙද කතා කරේ? කතා කරාද constructor එක? Constructor. The constructor is a block of code similar to the method. It is called when an instance of a class is created at the time of calling construct name. Here is the important thing, constructor name must be the same as its class name. A constructor must have no explicit return type. That means constructor එකට return type එකක් නැහැ. කියන්නේ අපි constructor එකකින් return කරන්නේ values. හරිද? Constructor cannot be abstract. අර static මේ මෙන්න මේ ටික වෙන්න බෑ constructor එකට. මෙන්න මේ abstract, static, final මෙන්න මේවා තියෙන්න බෑ. හරිද? The constructor is a block of code similar to the method, but it contains the same name as its class name. It's called when instance of class is created. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන instance එක create කරාට පස්සේ තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ අපි class එකේ object එකක් හදනවනේ. මෙන්න මෙතන කතා කරානේ class එකේ object එකක් හදන එක. මේ තියෙන මේක තමයි object එක. මෙන්න මේ student කියන දැන් මෙතන අපි student කියන class එක මේක. එතකොට student ගේ මොකද්ද මේ constructor එක. මේ තියෙන්නේ constructor එක. මේක තමයි constructor එක. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ instance එක හදන ගමන් ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ class එකේ instance එක හදන වෙලාවේ තමයි මෙන්න මේ constructor එකට කතා කරන්නේ. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ වෙලාවෙදිම මෙයා මෙන්න මේක define කරද්දිම මෙයා මේකට values ටික දා ගන්නවා. කියන්නේ මේ constructor එකට කතා කරන්නේ මේ මෙන්න මේ object එක initialize කරද්දි. හරිද? ඒක තමයි මෙන්න මේ it is called when an instance of the class is created. Instance එක මේ constructor එකට කතා කරන්නේ. මේ තියෙන්නේ. හරි. ඒ constructor එකටත් ගොඩක් වැදගත්. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ Java inheritance example හරි inheritance එකේ අපි example එකකට ගියා. example එකේ මෙතන මම කිව්වා මෙන්න මේ child parent behavior එකේදී මෙන්න මේ super keyword එකම ගොඩක් important. එතකොට මෙතනදී මෙයා මේ override කරනවා toString method එක. මේ override keyword එක අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ at override. මෙන්න මේ toString මොකද toString එක මේකෙත් තියෙනවනේ. toString keyword එක මේ bicycle කියන class එකේ තියෙනවා. එතකොට මෙයා parent එකේ තියෙන method එක parent class එකේ තියෙන method එකක් තමයි මේ override කරන්නේ. එතකොට මෙයා අපි override දාලා මෙයා override කරන super toString කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම මෙන්න මේ super දැන් මේ මෙතනදී අපි constructor එකට කතා වගේ මෙතනදී අපි මේ toString කියන method එක ඇතුළේදී super කියලා කතා කරොත් මෙන්න මේ super එකට තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ මේ parent ගේ toString එකට තමයි මේ කතා කරන්නේ. ඒ toString එකට කතා කරලා මෙතන මොනවද කරන්නේ? මෙන්න මේ return කරන එක තමයි කරන්නේ. එතකොට මෙතනදිත් මෙන්න මේ අර return කරන එක තමයි මෙතනදී කරන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන මේ whatever the code is written it is executing. හරිද? එහෙම තමයි මේ inheritance එක වැඩ කරන්නේ. එතකොට මෙතන මේ use කරලා තියෙන හැම method එකක්ම object එකක්ම මේ අපිට mountain bike එකේදී access කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට අමතරව කරන දේවල් ටික තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි super.toString එකට කතා කරලා ඊට අමතරව තව දෙයක් කරනවා. හරිද? ඒක තමයි ඔය inheritance කතාවේදී කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වැදගත් මේ inheritance එක. ඊට පස්සේ මේක තියෙන ගොඩක් දේවල් තියෙන මේ හැම එකම ඕනේ. මේ අපි මෙන්න මේ වගේ simple example එකක් හොඳට බලා ගන්න කොහොමද මේ access කරන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේ කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ parent class එකට parent class එකට කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේවා ටිකක් බලා ගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ මේ main method එකෙන් කොහොමද කතා කරන්නේ අපි mountain bike child class එකට. හරිද? එතකොට මෙන්න මේවා හරි important. මම කිව්ව ඕනම class එකක මේ දැන් මෙතන මේ class දෙකේම අපිට main methods නැහැනේ. නේ? මේ class දෙකේම main methods නැහැ. මේ දෙකේම නැහැ. හැබැයි මේ මෙතන මේ class එකේ විතරයි main method එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේකෙදි තමයි මේක තමයි main class එක විදිහට use කරන්නේ. මේක තමයි run කරන්නේ අපි. මේ main method එක තියෙන class එක තමයි අපි run කරන්නේ. එතකොට මේක අපි කිව්වා මේ static එකක් තියෙන නිසා මේ main method එක අපිට instantiate කරන්න බෑ කියලා. මේක කෙලින්ම run කරන්න තියෙන instantiate කරන්න බෑ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? මෙන්න මේක තමයි අපිට අපිට මේ instantiate කරලා මේ තියෙන්නේ හැබැයි මේක කරන්න බෑ මේක static method එකක් නේද ඒක නිසා අපිට call කරන්න වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ විදිහට හැබැයි ඉතින් අපි main method එකක් අපි මේ විදිහට call කරන්නේ නැහැ කෙලින්ම අපි කතා කරන්නේ මේක run කරන්න කියලා ඒකට දැන් tools වල මෙහෙම වෙනම කතා කරගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ නැහැ මේ වගේ කෙලින්ම tools එකකින් අපිට tool වලින් run කරන්න තියෙනවා හරිද මේක inheritance එක ඉතාමත් වැදගත් ඊට පස්සේ අපිට තව තියෙනවා polymorphism කියලා කැලලක්. හරි polymorphism කියන්නේ Morrison's ability of an object to take many forms. That means it can have many forms. That means many forms in the sense it's a concept of perform single action in different ways. This is in this way in this sentence you can get the idea. It's a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways. Again, අපිට එක action එකකින් මේක වෙනස් ආකාරවලට run කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මේක අපිට theory part එකක් විදිහට මේක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. Polymorphism is derived from two this is not necessary. This is important. There are two types of polymorphism, compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. This is called method overloading and this is runtime polymorphism called method overriding. Here in runtime polymorphism, this is already now we know this is coming with child parent behavior. Method overriding අපි කතා කරේ ඒ child parent behavior එකත් එක්ක තමයි මෙන්න මේ method overriding එක එන්නේ compile time polymorphism එක එන්නේ මේක මේ compile කරද්දි හරිද එතකොට method overloading කියන්නේ අපි දැන් මේක නම් අපි දැන් දන්නවා method overriding එක overloading එක ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරමු method overloading කියන්නේ අපිට මේ මෙතන key විදිහට තියෙන when there are multiple functions with same name but different parameters. The multiple functions, there are multiple functions with same name but different parameters. Then these functions are said to be overloaded. That means we are having in a single class we are having few methods with the same name but by having different type of different number of parameters. Right, for that method, for this for each and every method, it is accepting only different type of parameters. Maybe number of parameters are changing or type. I mean, the different types are accepting throughout that method. Let's go into this one, method overloading. Polymorphism. To understand this one, this is overload diff type. Okay, not different type of arguments. Here, see here we are having only this class name multiply function. This is class name and it contains multiply function. Right here I'm passing for this method I'm passing two parameters as double and here I'm having same name but here I'm passing two int parameters. Here the computer is in the sense JVM understands that this is going to be two different methods. Why? Because this is accepting only integer variables, this is accepting only double variables. So the program understands this is two different type of methods and it will give the output. Right? This is called method overloading. In which way we are passing two different types. Right here, it is passing only int, and here it is passing double. Right. So this is polymorphism, compile time polymorphism. Right, compile time polymorphism, but having two different types. Right, two types of parameters, and we are having method in number of arguments. Number of arguments are changed. Here we are having that number of arguments are different. Right. See here, for this multiply function, I'm having two parameters, but for this method I'm having 3 parameters. Okay, this is also what we called method overloading by using number of different, number of parameters have been changed. Okay, this is also method overloading. Ek poddak balagan method overloading එක operator overloading also ඒකත් අර වගේම තමයි. මේක පොඩ්ඩක් බලාගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ runtime polymorphism is coming with that child parent behavior. හරිද? අපි මේක දැනටමත් කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. polymorphism එක අර child parent behavior එකත් එක්ක තමයි මේක එන්නේ. මේක අපිට දැන් මේක අපි runtime polymorphism එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද? compile time එකේදී මේක අපිට මෙතන syntax error එකක් තිබ්බත් අහුවෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක runtime එකේදී විතරයි අහුවෙන්නේ. මොකද මේක child එකකදී run වෙන්නේ. child එකේදී අර run වෙන වෙලාවෙදි තමයි මේකේ values ඇත්තටම check කරලා බලන්නේ. අන්න ඒ වෙලාවෙදි තමයි මේක මොනවාරි issue එකක් තිබ්බොත් දන්නේ. It is also known as dynamic method. This process in which we පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා බලමු ඕන මේක අස්සට overriding මේකට ගියා. දැන් ඔන්න මම මෙතන sub class parent class එකක් තියෙනවා, print කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා, මෙතන sub class 1 කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙත් print method එක මෙන්න මෙතනින් override වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මෙතන මේ parent ගේ print method එක sub class එකේ මෙතනින් override වෙනවා. එතකොට මෙයා මොකද වෙන්නේ? අර overriding කියන එක මෙතනදී තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඇත්තටම මේක කොහෙදද execute වෙන්නේ? මෙන්න මෙයා run වෙන වෙලාවෙදි තමයි execute වෙන්නේ. හරිද? මේ run වෙන වෙලාවෙදි තමයි මෙයා ඇත්තටම values දාලා check කරන්නේ. එතකොට මොන හරි issue එකක් තිබ්බොත් ඒ වෙලාවේ තමයි run වෙද්දී තමයි කියන්නේ. හැබැයි compile time polymorphism එකේදී එයා compile කරද්දීම බලනවා මේ වගේ මොනවා හරි syntax errors තියෙනවද කියලා. දැන් හිතන්නකෝ sorry මේක මෙතන හිතන්නකෝ දැන් මෙතනට මේ මොකක් හරි දැන් මෙතනට හිතන්නකෝ දශම value එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා. මේක වැරදීනේ. මොකද මෙතනට pass කරන්න ඕන int variable එකක් නේ. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ වෙලාවේදී නම් මෙයා කියනවා හරි මෙතන මේ compile වෙද්දිම කියනවා මෙතන syntax error එකක් තියෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න කියලා. හැබැයි මෙන්න මේ වගේ තැනකදී මෙයාට කියන්න බෑ. හිතන්නකෝ දැන් මෙතන තව මොකක් හරි int variable එකක් දැම්ම කියලා මම. හැබැයි මෙතන string value එකක් නේ තියෙන්න ඕන. හැබැයි මෙයා මෙතනදී මේක string value මේක නම් කියයි. හැබැයි දැන් මෙන්න මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක මෙන්න මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවකදී නම් මේ runtime polymorphism තියෙන වෙලාවදී මේක මෙයා කියන්නේ compile time එකේ නෙවෙයි මේ runtime එකේ තමයි කියන්නේ. අන්න ඒක තමයි අර compile time එකයි compile time polymorphism runtime polymorphism කියලා එහෙම දෙකක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? ඒක method overriding එකට වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන exercises ටිකක් තියෙනවා. exercise ටික go through කරලා බලන්න. වැදගත් වෙයි. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ අපි යමු ඊළඟ section එකට. අපේ time එකත් ඉවර වෙගෙන යන්නේ. හරි, common usage එකේ මෙතන මේ casting casting එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Type casting is happening when you assign value of non-primitive data type to actually casting means we can when we converting one type. I mean when we are converting one type data into another type, right? That means let's say here this byte and short are two different data types, but right, but in the program, if I need to convert this byte into a short type, then at that time it says we need to do a casting, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ තියෙන type එකක් තවත් type එකකට convert කරද්දී අන්න එකකට කියනවා අපි casting එකක් කියලා. හරිද? එතකොට different type of casting are there: widening casting, narrowing casting. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක automatically වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අඩු එකක ඉඳන් වැඩි එකකට යද්දි මේක automatically වෙනවා. හැබැයි අඩු එකක ඉඳන් වැඩි එකක ඉඳන් අඩු එකකට යද්දි අන්න ඒ වෙලාවට නම් මේ අපිට ඒ terms පාවිච්චි කරලා ඒ conversion එක කරගන්න වෙනවා. casting එකක් කියන්නේ එතකොට මොකද්ද? මේ මෙන්න මේවා පොඩ්ඩක් බලා ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ casting එකක් කියන්නේ එක type එකක ඉඳන් තවත් type එකකට data type එකක් වෙනස් කරන්න යද්දී අන්න ඒ වෙලාවට අපි කියනවා type casting කියලා. හරිද? type casting is happening when you are assigning a value of one primitive data type to another type. That means if we are going to assign one data type to another type, at that time this casting is happening, right? We are having automatic casting and manual casting also. Narrowing casting, widening casting. Widening casting in the sense automatically it is happening. That is from smaller one to a larger one. When we are trying to convert smaller data type into a larger data type, then at that time this widening casting is happening. But when we convert larger type into a smaller one, at that time we need to do that manually using commands. We need to do that. That is type casting, right? මේ ටික පොඩ්ඩක් go through කරලා බලන්න. casting to double type casting array list එකක් පොඩ්ඩක් බලා ගන්න. මම class එකේ කරලා දෙනවා. There are so many examples using array examples, so you need to go through that one and just understand how you can manipulate array list, because there are so many ascending and descending examples are done in the classroom. So just refer those things. Definitely that will be important, right? Okay, that is a common usage of Java program. And then go to this graphics programming. This is also very important. And graphics programming, just refer these sync components, right? Sync components, and I have done so many examples. And here also here we have Java sync components. Go through these items, and here so you're going to be asked this kind of question, right? Just refer this example. If I this is event handling, right? Event handling, what we called event is how we can handle an action of the program, right? Let's say if this mouse movement, that is event, right? As well as click on a button, that is event. So how we can handle that event? Let's say for an example, button click event, we need to write the code for that click event. So that is we have discussed so many stuff. I will discuss only one single one. Event handler. Okay. See, this is the example for this one. This one. This is the add button. Here you are having this add action listener class, right? This is action listener. Definitely you need to have this class to implement this action listener class, right? So these things are very important. So you need to write the code for button click, and then just how you can access the list and how you can access the list items, right? This is very important. Just go through this one. I hope you got these examples. If you don't have, please tell me or send me an email, then I will share that one with you, because I have already shared that one in my drive. So I think you got that. If you can't locate it, please tell me. I will share that one with you again. So this is very important. Go through this item. I hope no point of doing these things again, because it will take more time. So just go through this one. Since I'm referring the most important thing, you can refer, right? I'm pointing the most important thing throughout my session. I pointed only the important things. So you can, if you can't refer that one also, I mean, it's no point, right? If you can't refer that one, then no point of doing this, because I have summarized this 20, I mean, not 20, 64 hours into maybe 2.5 hours. So just go through that one. Yeah, and then this is sync components as well as the button click item. Those are very important. Go through that one, and yeah, it will be very helpful for you guys. And then I'm go to the 6, 7, 7, yeah, and then 8 one. And here it is this one also important. Just refer the theory part. As I said, this is covering, I mean, if someone is not interested in doing, I mean, writing program, then definitely that guy also can pass the exam by going through the theory. So this is very fair enough paper. Just refer the, I mean, just go through the theory part to pass the exam. If you need to get more marks, then you need to definitely you need to go through the program also, right? So exception is through I mean in the program, right? In the program there may be some errors, right? As I discussed in the previously, these errors or issues can be occurred during the compile time or the run time. Actually, during the compile time, we can identify. Then we can fix. But what will happen when that program is running? Some error is occurred. At that time, we can't do anything. Definitely, that program will be disrupted, right? So that means we need to handle those kind of issues. So handling those kind of issues are called exception handling. An exception, and what is first of all we need to understand what is an exception. Exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. That means during the execution time some errors are occurred. At that time we say this is an error, and that in programming term we are calling that one as exception. And when an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program application terminates abnormally. That means that whatever the things were happening throughout the program is terminated abnormally, right? So no point of doing that one. It stops at that time. So we need to handle those kind of exceptions or errors. So handling those exception is called exception handling. These are the ways we can find those kind of issues. A user has entered invalid data. A file that needs to be opened cannot be found. Let's say I'm going to open a file, but in the location or drive that file is not there. So at that time program cannot understand it, it gives an error. Likewise, there are a few other ways we can find these kind of issues. The best thing is to handle that kind of exception. So what is exception? This is few exceptions are there, and then what is exception handling? Exception handling is the mechanism to handle that runtime errors. This is important. Exception handling is a mechanism to handle that runtime issues. So these are the let's say in fifth statement we are having that time we need to handle that one. Otherwise we can't run. It runs this up to fourth line, but from the fifth line it stops the program, and then we can't run this lines up to 10. At that time program stops abnormally. So we need to handle that one. Even though if we handle this issue, it does not care this fifth statement, but it will continue the program without executing the fifth line. So that's the purpose of handling the exception, right? According to Oracle, checked exception, unchecked exception, and errors. These are type of exceptions. Not important. Yeah, no need of going through the examples of this exception. And then this is important. This is a thread in Java. This is also important, right? Just refer this on multitasking refers in a Java. It supports multithreading, and multitasking in the sense refer to computer ability to perform multiple jobs concurrently. That means parallelly we can run multiple jobs, right? In a program, multitasking is like we are running, let's say here I'm running PowerPoint as well as Google Meet. This is called multitasking. I'm running few softwares parallelly or concurrently. This is called multitasking. In multi-threading is in the sense threading is single sequence of execution. That means in a single program we are having multiple threads, right? Execution within the program, that is within a single program, right? Here PowerPoint is a single program, but multitasking is PowerPoint and Google Meet and Zoom and Chrome. These are referred as multitasking. Several programs are running, but if we consider one program, let's say PowerPoint, in that PowerPoint we are also having multiple sequence of executions, right? That is a thread, right? That is let's say in a single program we are having several kind of executions. That means let's say sub parts, like we are having uh, concurrently running threads. That is called multi-threading. Thread is what you can you understand? A thread is a single sequence of execution within a program. That means single sequence in the sense that is a set of let's say it is kind of set of executions in the sense maybe lines or few classes, maybe that is we can understand as multi-threading, right? Button sorry, thread is in the sense it is a single sequence. That means we are having a few lines of code. That is called thread. There are having, if we have same kind of threads, then that is called multi-threading, right? Multi-threading refer to multiple threads to control within a single program, but these multiple threads are in a single program. That is called multi-threading, right? If we go to this example here, I'm trying to explain concurrency and parallelism. Here, concurrency in the sense it is one by one it is executing, one after another it is executing. But parallelism in the sense in this both of these CPU 1 and CPU 2 are running parallelly, right? But for this one, see, this CPU it running concurrently. That means one after another. But parallelism in the sense this both are running at the same time, right? In this way you can understand threads and process. Okay, in the CPU we are having processors, right? We are having several processors. In a single process we are having a thread, right? A thread is a subset of a process. That means executing an instance of a program is called process. That means let's say I'm running a Java program. So I'm opening few instance of that software. I'm opening few instance of that program. So that is called let's say in a single instance is called process, right? Here we are having, in here process 1, process 2, process 4. Here we are having multiple processes, but in a single process we can have in a single process, right? In a process අපිට තියෙන්න පුළුවන් thread කීපයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ a thread is a subset of process. ඒ කියන්නේ එක process එකක thread කීපයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, කීපයක් තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ process එකක thread කීපයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. And the thread shares the address. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මෙතන thread shares the space of a process that created it. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ thread එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ process එකේ මේක නම් ගොඩාක් important නෑ. හැබැයි නිකන් දැනගන්න මේ thread එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේ process එකේ address එකම තමයි. Thread shares the address space of the process that created it. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ process එක create කරපු address space, ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කලින් කතා කරන අර ඕනම දෙයකට memory එකේ location එක create කරනවා කියන location එක කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම address එක. එතකොට මේ create කරන variable එකකට හරි object එකකට හරි එහෙම නැත්නම් process එකකට මේ හැම එකකටම අපිට own address space එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ මෙන්න මේ thread එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මෙයාගේ process එකේ space එකම තමයි, and have their own address space. Processes have their own address space. එතකොට මේ process වලට ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ own address space තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේකත් හොඳ example එකක් තේරුම් ගන්න process එකක් කියන එක. එතකොට process එකක් කියන්නේ මම කියවන්නේ process එකක් කියන්නේ අපි දැන් මෙහෙම මේ point එක PowerPoint එක software එකක්නේ. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ process එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද? මම දැන් මේ එක process එකක්. හරිද? මේ එක process එකක්. මේ එක process එකක්. එතකොට මේ එකම program එකෙන් එකම software එකකින් මම processes කීපයක් හදාගෙන තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේක මේක තේරුම් ගන්න ලේසි මේකෙන්. එතකොට මේ මම කිව්වා මේ PowerPoint එකේ එක program එකක්. එතකොට process එකක් කියන්නේ මේ එක process එකක් තමයි මේ එක instance එකක් මේ ඇත්තටම. එක process එකක් කියන්නේ ඒ PowerPoint එකේ instance එකක්. එතකොට මේ 1 එක 2 එක 3 එක ඒ වගේ ඒ processes තමයි තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට thread එකක් කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ එක process එකක threads කීපයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. හිතන්න දැන් මේ එක slide එකක් එක thread එකක්. මේ slide එකක් එක thread එකක්. ඒ වගේ මේ එක process එකක් ඇතුලේ threads පුළුවන්. හරිද? මෙන්න මේක තමයි process එකකයි thread එකකයි අතර වෙනස. ඒක theory එක බලාගන්න ready වෙලා ඉන්න exam එකට. එතකොට මේ වගේ මේ examples නම් practicals නම් අහන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය ටික තමයි මේ mainly what I wanted to cover. ඉතින් ඔය ටික බලාගන්න මම ඔය කියපු දේවල් හරි වැදගත්. මම හැම දෙයක්ම cover කරේ නැහැ. important දේවල් ටික විතරයි cover කරේ. ඔය ටික අනිවාර්යෙන් බලාගන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නෝනේ?
Yes sir.
හරි මම බය වුණා මෙතන ඉරම message එකක් ඇවිල්ලා. මම කියවගෙන ගියා. මේ හරි guys මේ එතකොට ඔය ටික තමයි මේ බලාගන්න තියෙන්නේ. මොනවා හරි තව මේ විශේෂයෙන් මොනවා හරි දැනගන්න ඕනද?
සර් paper එකේ structure කොහොමද එන්නේ?
ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක අපි දැන් ගිය පාර එකේ මේ ස්මල්වත් අපි මට කිව්වේ ගිය පාර එකේදී අපි පැය 3කට තමයි හදලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ පාර ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ඔන්ලයින් එක්සෑම් එකක් නේ තියෙන්නේ. නේද? ඔන්ලයින් එක කරන්නේ. ගෙවල් වලින් දන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට මේ 3 hours වලට ඒක මේ කේට කරන්න අමාරුයි කියලා අපි 2 hours වලට තමයි මේ පේපර් එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. ගොඩක් අමාරු නෑ මේ පේපර් එක හරි ලේසි. අර පහුගිය එක්සෑම් පේපර් එක තියෙනවද ඔයගොල්ලෝ ළඟ? past papers.
ඒක හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්.
ඔව් ඒ ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එකම තමයි. හැබැයි මේකේ මේ පැය දෙකකට අඩු කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ප්‍රශ්න ටිකක් අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අර ඔක්කොම මම කව කරලා දෙන්න මම තමයි පේපර් එක හැදුවේ. මේ මිස් කවුද සුරනිත් ඒකට ඇග්‍රී වුණා. ඉතින් අර ලේසි ගොඩක්ම ලේසි මේ ක්ලාස් එකේ කරපු දේවල්ම විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. වෙන කිසිම දෙයක් එන්නේ හරිද? හොඳට
BT format එකකට තියෙන්නේ.
මට ඒක තේරෙන්නේ
ඒක කියන්නේ semester 2 exam එක තිබ්බා. ඒකෙදි අපිට OBT කියන්නේ අපේ lecture materials use කරන්න chance එක දීලා තිබ්බා.
මම හිතන්නේ ඒක ගැන නම් මට අයිඩියා එකක් නැහැ. මම හිතන්නේ ඔව් දැන් ඉතින් යෙදෙන දන්න කමත් කරන්න පුළුවන් නේද? එහෙම
content එකෙන් සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් අමතක වෙලා තියෙන මේ විදිහට අර මේ ගොඩක්ම B2 එකේ කට්ටිය තමයි ප්‍රශ්න B1 එකට වඩා මේ අර jobs කරන ගමන් නිසා අර ඔකට එකම ටක් ගාලා අර ඒ content එකේ
යනවා නේද?
දේවල් ටික මේ අමතක වෙන්නට තියෙනවා.
ඔව් ඒක නෑ එහෙම තමයි. ඔව් ඉතින් මේක ඉතින් සාධාරණයි. අනිත් එක දැන් ගොඩක් කල්නේ නේ මේක කරලත් අපි.
මම හිතන්නේ අවුරුද්දක වගේ මොඩියුල් එක ඉවර කරලා.
ඔව්. මේ කොවිඩ් එකත් එක්ක තමයි මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. මෙහෙම කරන්න දැන් මම ඔය අද කරේ දැන් ගොඩක්ම වැදගත් දේවල් ටික ඔය ටික මට හිතුණා ඉතින් ඔහොම ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වෙයි කියලා ඒකයි මම අර පැය 4කට දාලා තිබ්බේ. ඒක බොරුවට මට තේරුම නැති කියලා හිතුණා. ආයි නිකන් ඒක ආයි කෝස් එක කරනවා වගේනේ. කෝස් එක කරනවා වගේනේ. ඒකයි මම ඉම්පෝර්ටන්ට් පොයින්ට් එක ඩිස්කස් කරේ. ඔය ටික බලා ගන්න. මේ මම හිතන්නේ අර ඔයා අහපු ප්‍රශ්නෙට එහෙම රෙස්ට්‍රික්ෂන්ස් දාන්න නැති වෙයි. කොහොමද? මේ හැබැයි ඔන්ලයින් මොනිටර් කරනවා කිව්වා මල්ලි.
ඔව් මොනිටර් කරනවා සර්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක මේ මොනිටර් කරනවා අපිට soft copy එකක් use කරන්න බෑ. හැබැයි අපිට hard copy එක ළඟ තියෙනවා නම් ඒක use කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ table එකට දෙන material එක. එහෙම තමයි සර් මේ semester 2 එකේ exam එක ගියේ.
ඒ විදිහම වෙයි මම හිතන්නේ මේක. එහෙම ලොකු ගොඩාක් ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් නම් මම දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම අපි අර විසිටින්න කරන්නේ ඒක නිසා. හරි එහෙමනම් මේ හොඳට කරන්න එක්සෑම් එක මොනවාරි තිබ්බොත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මොනවාරි තව කවද එක්සෑම් එක තියෙන්නේ? පස්වෙනිදා කියන්නේ එදා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ පටන් ගන්න? පස්වෙනිදා නේද පටන් ගන්නවා කිව්වේ?
6 වෙනිදා සර් පටන් ගන්න. 6 වෙනිදා පටන් ගන්න web technology and applications වලින්. මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ 11 නේ.
11
11.
හරි ඊට කලින් මේ මොන හරි සපෝට් එකක් ඕන නම් ඉල්ලන්නකො. අපි දැන් තව මම හිතන්නේ ඔක්කොම ජොයින් වුණොත් නෑ නේද 40ක් විතර මුලින් නම් හිටියේ. අර බොහොම ඉතින් මේ වෙලාව හරි බෝරින් වෙලාවක් ඉතින් ටයර්ඩ් නේ මාර. කට්ටිය ඉතින් හරි අමාරුයි. මේ කට්ටියක් ඉන්නවා නම් මම ඕනනම් තව සෙෂන් එකක් කරන්නම් බලන්න. මේ කියන්නකො මට මොනවා හරි තව කව කරන්න තියෙනවා නම් මේ බලන්න. මේ ඔය ටික තමයි ඉතින් මේන්ලි කව කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔය අර මම අර කිව්වා වගේ දැන් ඕන කෙනෙක්ට පාස් වෙන විදිහට කියන්නේ තියරි වලට දැන් සමහර අය ඉන්නවනේ ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් කරන්න බැරි අය. ඉතින් ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් පාස් වෙන විදිහට තමයි හදලා තියෙන පේපර් එක. ඒකෙන් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් ඉන්ට්‍රෙස්ට් එකක් තියෙන අයට හොඳ මාක්ස් වලට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් තියරිටිකයි මේකයි හොඳට බලාගත්තොත් ඒ නැතත් ඉතින් ක්ලාස් එකේ දේවල් බලාගත්තොත් ඉඳන් කටපාඩම් කරගත්තොත් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් ටිකත් මේ ඉගෙන මම දැන් පොයින්ට් අවුට් කරානේ ඉම්පෝර්ටන්ට් දේවල් ටික මේ ටික බලාගත්තොත් ඉතින් ඇති මේ ගොඩ දාගන්න හොඳ මාක් එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය ආරේ සෝට් කරන ඒවා එතකොට ඉන්හෙරිටන්ස් වලින් එක්සැම්පල් දෙකක් ඒවා පොඩ්ඩක් එහෙම බලා ගන්න. එතකොට ස්විං කම්පොනන්ට් එකේ මම ගිය පාර නම් මේ පේපර් එකේ ලොකු වෙන පතරංගයක් දුන්නා. මේ පාර නම් ඔය ක්ලාස් එක ඇතුළෙම කරපු එකක් තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා අර ගිය පාරට වඩා මේ පාර මේ ලේසි පේපර් එක. පැය දෙකකටත් මේ අනිත් එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. Okay එහෙනම් all the best for all of you. හරි නම් හම්බෙම හරි okay good night all the best.
Good night sir. Thank you sir.
Bye bye.
Okay sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir.